Hey, my name is Austin Helms, and I had the great opportunity to move to Charlotte back in July of 2016 to work for the Griffin Brothers as an entrepreneur on board with Mike Griffin. And I'll give you a quick rundown of what the Griffin Brothers, who the Griffin Brothers are, and kind of who the Griffin Brothers will be, and how our excitement is building around the northwest corridor of the greater Charlotte area. So as you can see, the Griffin Brothers the business started in 1961 with Griffin Brothers Tire. They began to expand the business and became a very diversified family company with Greenway Waste Solutions, and they own 5 landfills across the Carolinas, and they've done a variety of development all across the greater Charlotte area, some mixed-use housing like Mosaic Village, a shopping center in Lincoln County, but then also purchased Pine Island Country Club about 10 years ago. So today I'm not talking about any of these businesses in particular, but I kind of want to talk about what our plans are for the old AMP site on West Trade, about 1.5 miles from Center City. So I will explicitly talk about the food hall, which we are calling FAM, which means food and music, but also means family, because everyone's a part of the family when you come to FAM. But I will talk about that in more detail in just a second. But the building itself is 18,000 square feet, and these 3 sections will be a 6,000 square feet section. So you've got 1/3 will be FAM, the other 1/3 will be a music venue, which we think we get all kinds of eclectic music, including jazz. And the last piece of that will be a West End Community Center that will be able to be used by all different organizations throughout the West End corridor. And so the Griffin Brothers and myself, Austin, believe that we can create 100 new jobs within the corridor, and we'll be able to hire those jobs locally. So super exciting stuff. As you can see here, we'll be working with Neighboring Concepts and Schrader Design to build out a plan to create a very unique venue. So like I said, I'm here today to talk to you about FAM, kind of how FAM came to be, and kind of explain to you how a chef's dreams can come to life here in Charlotte. So like I said, I work for the Griffin Brothers companies. I'm an entrepreneur at heart. Started there back in July, and 1 month on the job, so August 1st, 2016, this eye came to me. And it actually came to me from that very seat you're seeing there at Loopy's Cafe in Huntersville. I was enjoying a hot dog before a meeting for one of the landfills, and watched this chef passionately cook this hot dog like I've never seen someone cook a hot dog. And it's kind of funny because I saw that man cooking, and I was like, man, he should be owning his own restaurant, but I wonder why he's not. And the more I thought about it, the more I came to realization that I had an opportunity in college to start a business. I went to UNC Chapel Hill, and during that time, I went through an Incubator program. I went through an Accelerator program. I was able to speak to professors, business folks in the area about my business plan, and they would critique it. They would ask me questions. I could go to pitch competitions, all different types of things that are focused around folks who want to start their own business. But then I began to do more and more research, but there's not many places a chef can go to own his own restaurant. And I found out there are some staggering statistics behind that. A chef opening his restaurant without any training, 60% fell after the first year, and as you can see here, 80% fell after 5 years. So after that meeting on August 1st, I went home, went to bed, same old thing, got up the next morning and got super excited because the research I was doing was showing that this was a huge opportunity. So I went running into Mike's office, super excited, and he loved it. He told me to do some more research. So I did some more research and actually found a company up in Pittsburgh called Small Man Galley. Small Man Galley was the first restaurant incubator in the United States. So this is back in 2016 when we found it. That Small Man was actually founded in 2015. And I haggled the investor enough, so he gave me the 2 owners' phone numbers. We had a call with them and actually flew up to visit them in November of 2016, and we're very excited with what we saw up there. So you can see here's some pictures. And so what our business plan, a lot of folks have been calling, wondering, what are you guys doing with FAM? What does that really mean? So what this means is that we would have 4 unique chefs, all brand new, no one who's really owned a restaurant. Maybe they've been in the food truck before, maybe they just had a vision, they've got this passion on their own restaurant, but they would be in this space, and what we're using is what we call food truck meets a food court model, where these folks might be in little boxes of 160 square feet. They get to create their own menus, they buy their own goods. They really do it all, except it's at free rent. So kind of unique business plan where we, the landlord and the tenant, would be taking a percentage of their rent, but they'd have enough to pay their labor and also their food costs. So really unique experience where they get to come at this at almost a failure-free zone where they can try this out for a year. And if they do not want to own their own restaurant following that, that's fine. But it's our passion that we will teach them the skills and give them the necessary tools so when they are ready to own their own restaurant, by the end of that 12 months, they're ready to rock, and that failure rate is significantly decreased. So like I said, it's a 12-month program. It'll be open 6 days a week. On the 7th day, they'll be getting marketing skills. They'll learn how to source goods. If some customer comes up and says their meat is cooked too long, they'll know how to. They'll have the customer experience skills down pat. So we'll be using different resources throughout Charlotte area and beyond to come in and speak to these what we're calling chefpreneurs. And so these chefpreneurs will also get to communicate alongside each other. They'll be talking about best practices, different things they're using as far as their trade goes. And then like I said, each chef will be tied to an advisor, and so we'll have 4 different chefpreneurs and 4 different advisors that are kind of working alongside these chefs to make sure that they're ready to run their own restaurant. And so one of our goals too is to keep these chefpreneurs owning their own restaurants within the West End corridor and then within Charlotte. And so we plan to have chefs come in who maybe want to own one restaurant, maybe they want to own 10, maybe they want to own 50, but we want them to start here in Charlotte, here in our incubator we call FAM, and then kind of keep this momentum going as we'll have brand new chefs each year. And so kind of moving on past that, we call this kind of the triple C model, is that we think this is going to involve everyone. So customers are going to get to come into our site here and get to have this unique dining experience where they're getting 4 brand new chefs every single day they come in. Not every single day, but every single time they come, they could try 4 different chefs. Let's just say you have a family of 4 and nobody can ever decide what anybody wants, so you just show up here. You get to have a unique experience. You're getting to support these local chefs, and you may fall in love with them and kind of encourage them to open their own restaurant. And then we hope to have this is supposed to be a high quality food without the feeling of a high-end restaurant. So very much a young millennial, family friendly environment, anyone and everyone. Since we're going to be having all these different types of cuisines in here, we believe this is going to be open for all ages. And so then the other piece is chefs. These chefs are going to make their dream a reality. And chefs, if you're out there, I would tell you to call me. My numbers will be at the end of the slide deck here. But this is an incredible opportunity, and this will be the first of its kind in North Carolina. Some of these restaurant incubators are popping up in different parts of the states, but this is the first one in North Carolina, and we see this as being a huge thing for Charlotte and North Carolina. And so this is also going to be a testing platform for these different cuisines that these chefs may have. So they'll get to try different dishes, they'll get to see what's hot, what's not. And the third piece, which is I'm most excited about, and that's to you customers and community, is that we'll be able to source goods locally here in Charlotte to this incubator. And then at the same time, we're going to do something pretty unique here where we call it Charlotte Pick Your Next Chef, almost like Top Chef or American Idol for Chef, where we will get about our top 16 applicants, and then we will probably break those into 4 different categories, and then we will have Charlotte and pretty much anyone in the greater Charlotte area will be voting on their top chefs. So these chefs will come out with their unique videos, and they'll be able to showcase who they really are. So they will create a following before they even walk into our space. So that's kind of exciting stuff to kind of get everyone engaged and create this very unique atmosphere of what we call FAM. So I kind of mentioned this before. It's going to have a pretty affordable price point. It's going to be for all generations. And then eventually you'll actually have a gold line access from Center City to the old AMP site, which will be FAM, and the music hall and the community center. And so we've got plenty of parking, and we're planning on activating that space similar to what VBGB has in the Music Factory. So super unique space with a great outdoor environment. Unfortunately, I don't have any photos for you to show you yet of what it could look like, but we're currently working through that now. So this aligns actually with all the different plans that the corridor is asking for. Historic West End, if those of you don't know, you can check that out online, but this is a tactical plan, and this shows how what we're doing, the revitalization of that space, is kind of what the city is calling for, and we can't wait to share it with you all. So this kind of, if anyone's interested, kind of gives you the timeline of timeline of the events of how ideation started. So, like as I mentioned, August 1st, 2016, the idea came in Loopy's Cafe in Huntersville, and then we presented to different folks throughout the city. October 12th, November we went up to Small Man Galley, got to meet the owners, and got super excited after that. We made more and more presentations, and then actually have received quite a bit of support from the community itself in the Northwest Corridor. And so currently, and what we're doing next is working with John C. Smith and some other folks to kind of create some unique partnerships. And then finally, the Griffin Brothers have committed up to $2 million in upfitting the space and getting it up to standards, and like I said, creating this unique space, a unique outdoor environment that will benefit not only the community itself, but also the greater Charlotte community. So this happened, this vision and everything came together about 385 days ago. So as you can tell by my voice, I'm super passionate about this, and we're ready to rock, and we're ready to get started. And I know there's lots of chefpreneurs out there that are just itching to have this opportunity, and we can't wait to share it with the greater Charlotte area. So here we are. Mike is on the left, and then I'm on the right. So you feel free to give any of us a call. Probably easier to reach me at 828-448-5521, and I'd be happy to answer any questions, concerns you may have. If you're interested in the space, interested in what we're doing, feel free to give me a shout. Thanks so much.